What's on the docket for today?
Yeah, mindset. We're going to talk red pill versus blue pill. And is that
There's like two different types of red pill, blue pill. We're going to talk about it as it pertains to being an entrepreneur. All right, our mindset topic is red pill versus blue pill. And it's always interesting to me. I think a lot of our younger generation has missed out on the movie The Matrix. So in this movie, The Matrix, you've got Neo, played by Keanu Reeves, and then you got Morpheus, played by Lawrence Fishburne. This is back in like 1999. Ooh, that was a while ago. And so in the movie, he's just living his life. So here's what it says. It says, the blue pill, red pill scene in the cult Matrix film is one of the most famous movie scenes of all time. And Morpheus, a freedom fighter, shows Neo, a programmer looking for the true nature of the world, two pills, a blue pill and a red pill. If he takes the blue pill, he goes back to the life he's had so far and forgets everything about the events that had brought him to this moment. If he takes the red pill, the true nature of the world reveals itself to Neo and changes his life completely. So if you take the red pill in today's world, it's kind of like you're going the path of self-growth. Lifelong learners such as yourself have chosen the red pill. You have embarked on an amazing journey. I kind of liken it to entrepreneurship. At some point, you realize that maybe what you're doing, the career path you're on, the job you're on is not going to lead to the life you want, to the freedom that you want. Ultimately, I think for most entrepreneurs, they do make the decision out of freedom. And so in this movie, you know, it seems like he's free, but he's really not. He's in this matrix. The matrix controls everything. When he takes the red pill, he's actually free, but life is not quite as easy. There's a lot of challenges that he must overcome and struggles. And so a lot of it's talked about working on your mindset shift. And I know you've talked a little bit about Carol Dweck. And basically, a lot of people think you either have something or you don't. And that belief is wrong because there's this growth mindset belief. And that's, I think, what the red pill, blue pill is all about. You've talked about this growth mindset. How would you kind of describe it?
Yeah, I mean, the growth mindset is this mindset of you can adapt, you can change. There's always more. The glass is half full type of mentality versus this mindset of, all I can ever do is go to college for 4 years, get my degree, and clock in, clock out, eat my TV dinner, and go to bed. Like just this very, very simple, basic life. It's interesting, as you were talking about this, I was thinking about my own journey as an entrepreneur. And Leo, in fact, I'm going to share mine, and then I'm curious to get yours, because I bet yours is very, very different than me, because we're very different personalities and mindsets and whatnot. For me, I don't think I ever really made that determination, you know what, I'm going to be a business owner, I'm going to be an entrepreneur, until about 2018. I always liked the idea of it, but in the back of my head, it was always like, you know what, I was going to school at BYU, I'm just going to get this management degree and I'm going to go work for some big corporation and make 120 to 150 a year and go on 2 vacations a year and just live that good, fun, safe life. And it wasn't really until we started this business, because I had other little side hustles and things that I'd done, but I was like, I never really saw the vision until about 2019 when we started this. I was like, you know what? This is my path. This is my route. I took that red pill and I forged a new way for me and my family. And I hope it's something that I can pass on to my children, because this is true freedom. I've lived both lives, and yeah, this is harder. There's no doubt about it. This is a lot harder than going to work from 9 to 5 and going home every day, but it's way more rewarding and it's way more free. For you, I mean, did you have a specific time when you took the red pill, or do you feel like you were one that you were kind of born with, you know what, I'm going to be an entrepreneur from as long as you can remember?
You know, with some of our podcasts, we've interviewed a lot of successful entrepreneurs, 7, 8, 9-figure entrepreneurs, and I've kind of come up with 2 different types. Tell me which type you are. So there's the entrepreneur type that I would say is like my son Marcus. And this kid from like age 10, or maybe 8 or 9, he was going out with Lucas and he was doing the curb painting door to door, 100 degrees in Spanish Fork. And they were doing the curb painting, making $25 a house there. And and then he's moved on to cleaning garbage cans. And he bought a pressure washer for $300, and he was going to do like cement ceiling. And now he's doing car detailing because he found out he can make like $100 in an hour. And he's like, oh, this is way better. And people are excited. And then they refer their friends. And he's gone door to door at some of the office buildings there in Lehigh. So there's that type of kid that from the very young age, like they were entrepreneurial. They were starting some sort of business, some sort of side hustle. Probably not a straight A kid in high school. Their attention goes a million different places. They're very creative. They're leaders. And then there's the other type that went the very traditional route, probably got really good grades, went to college, went the traditional path, and then at some point realized, wait, this traditional path is, like you said, if you do well at it, you're making 120 to 150 a year, and you're saving a little bit of money, and you have a 401k, and you buy a house and car and kids, but you never actually have freedom. And you could always lose that job and lose that stability like that. And those people eventually say, well, forget this. I'm going to start my own business. I'm going to have control. I'm going to be an entrepreneur. So there's those two types, A and B. And for me, I actually was not like my son Marcus. I never started any businesses in high school. I hated going door to door and selling something, or even, when you do like the little charity drives in your school and sell cards. You're selling some card thing. I hated that stuff as a kid. And it didn't happen for me until I was in college. And this guy came in and he's like, that piece of paper you're working so hard for, well, it's not going to mean much if you have no actual business experience. And he's like, we're teaching people how to start painting businesses. You'll learn about finance, management, hiring employees, marketing, everything about business. And I thought, wow, that's really cool. Yeah, I should look into this. And so I looked into that. And when I did that internship of starting a painting business and doing jobs, doing sales marketing, I was knocking on doors in the rain. And that was my first jump into entrepreneurship. And after that, it was like I'd taken the red pill. My eyes were open. I'm like, oh, I don't think I can ever work for anybody again. And after that, I had one corporate job in the mortgage industry for about a year. And then that was it. I never worked for anybody again. And so from about age 25 on, I always had some kind of business that I was running. Some have succeeded, some have not. Some have gotten to 8 figures, some, did not. But yeah, I couldn't go back. I couldn't go back to the blue pill life ever again after that.
Yeah, it's interesting. For me, what's odd, Leo, is I was more like Marcus growing up. I had the spray paint, the curb business going. I had an aeration business going. I had a poop scooping business going. Like I did all of those things as a kid, but I think the different thing in my life, and granted, I say this, I have the utmost respect for my mother, my father, and
Great
what
people.
they do. They
Great
are
people.
top-notch human beings, and they perform really, really well in their tasks. But my mom was a school teacher her whole life. My stepfather was a CPA his whole life, and my biological father worked in finance with healthcare administration. And so I almost felt like that was all I had seen. And so even though in my mind I had all of these businesses and I had kind of tasted the red pill a little bit, I felt like I needed to follow the path of my parents and do this 9 to 5 and get my degree and work exactly what I got that degree for. But I think it's just, it's almost on us as parents, as entrepreneurs, to let these other children and, our kids and our kids' friends see what the entrepreneurial life is actually about and see that it's actually achievable. It's not just this pipe dream when people talk about the American dream. I think for me, if it wasn't for my grandfather seeing that he actually did from the ground up build a successful business, I don't know if I ever would have believed you when you came to me and said, Ty, we can start this business, because of the fear and the mental block that these institutions instill in you, right? College makes you feel like
That's the matrix.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They make you feel like you have to do this. It's the only way, and it's just not.
And it was even stronger, when I was growing up, when I was going to college in the 2000s, it was even more stronger. And if you didn't, I remember going to my cousin's house, and they actually lived in Bountiful. My uncle's an attorney. My dad's a county attorney. Uncle's an insurance attorney, and he lived in a pretty nice area there in Bountiful. And I remember going there, and they were asking me about college. And, I got 2 scholarships. I had a 3.75 GPA, and I had a year left, and I'm making more money than my dad at the time with a finance mortgage business that I started investing in. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think I'm going back to college, guys. And it was like I was speaking blasphemy. Oh, you can't say that. You can't do that. You can't succeed in life. And so for my parents, I mean, there was no entrepreneurial anything. It was go to college, it was become a professional, and it was get scholarships. And if you do that, you can win at life. And that was the only way of winning. And so I didn't have really, the only one example I had growing up was the dude who actually invented the video cassette plastic containers that would hold like movie videotapes back in the 80s and 90s that Blockbuster used. He invented those.
Oh, wow.
And so and don't ask me why he thought he would come retire in Beaver. Like, he cashed out for $30 million in the 90s, and he came in and he was like ran the Little League baseball team. I borrowed one of his sports cars to take someone to prom in, and he was a really cool guy. So I guess that was the only example of my entire life up until actually starting that painting business, where I saw, oh yeah, wow, this is cool. And the dude just did whatever he wanted every day. He cashed out. He said he worked his ass off for 20 years or whatever it was building that company. But I remember thinking that was a cool guy. I like that.
And that's just it, Leo. Like, if you're watching this and you're an entrepreneur and you're wanting to take that next step into starting your own business, I would say the best thing for you to do is to go find a successful entrepreneur and shadow them. Even if you need to work for them on an internship for a little while, to just see how they do how they go about their business, how they act, how they dress, right? Literally just mirror what they're doing. Don't go to a 4-year Don't go to college and get a 4-year degree in entrepreneurship where they tell you, well, if you don't go take your accounting class, how are you ever going to start a business if you don't know how to keep your books? Well, guess what? I'm really good at what I do, so I can hire an accountant. Oh, yeah. I don't need to know how to keep my books. That's what a CPA is for, right? Yeah. So it's one of these things where I think the best way to do it is just get out there and get a taste of that red pill life and see what it's actually all about.
Amen. Even if you had to work for free, it would be so valuable to be able to do that. And so my daughter, who just graduated from high school, she's going to get her real estate license, and she's going to go and do that. I said, hey, I don't care if you make a dime. Go find a really good, well-established real estate agent broker that you can work for free and just learn and do whatever you can to help that person out, and just watch what they do for 2 or 3 years. That'll be the best education that you can ever get until she's going to go that route.
And working for free is way less expensive than paying for college, if that's the route you're going.
Yes, it is.
If that's the route you're going. So
$100,000 in student loans that you can't bankrupt. And guess what, guys? Those rates went up. Oh, shit. The rates went up.